Hi, Ranjit.
Hi, Ren.
Hi Murli. Hi
Right.
Prashant.
Hi, Ren.
Hi, Ren.
Hi Rohan.
So,
Now I can see everyone. Hi Jeevan. Hello
Hi,
Mrs.
Ren.
Kavalu.
Hello.
How many people have joined Murli?
we have already around 200 plus.
Yeah.
We're starting, going live.
All right. Thanks.
Rohan.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Rohan Rajvanshi, and I'm the host for today's webinar. COVID-19 has changed substantially the way we live. Many newly emerged burning issues stare at us. In COVID era, many alternatives will be forced to develop to substitute the old style of functioning of man, machine, and knowledge delivery. Field of education too cannot insulate itself from such alternatives and changes. And with every challenge, open new opportunities, and today's webinar is going to address the same. I would like to welcome and thank students, parents, teachers, and heads of schools in the audience for joining us today. I would like to welcome our esteemed dignitaries to the session. Our first dignitary is Mrs. Manila Cavillo. With teaching as a passion, Mrs. Cavillo has journey 30 years as an educationist. She is the founder principal of DPS Bangalore East. She is currently a research scholar with Annamalai University and holds the position of a chairperson for Bangalore Sahodaya Schools Complex Association. Mrs. Cavallo has widely traveled both in India and abroad in connection with education and is the recipient of several state, national, and international awards. And she has been recognized as one of the effective 50 principals of India by Education Today. Welcome, ma'am. Our next dignitary is Mr. Jeevan Sasidharan. Mr. Sasidharan is an associate director with EY with over 18 years of experience. He's a qualified company secretary, MBA, and ACCA. He started his career with HDFC Limited and worked in the credit department of mortgage loans for over 6 years. He then moved on to KPMG, where he was part of governance, risk, and compliance services for 5 years. He has been with EY for the past 7 years and have spent the majority of time leading the internal audit services for the Middle and North African region. Welcome, sir. Our next dignitary is Mr. Ren Verma. Ren Verma joined ACCA as the head of partnerships for emerging markets with over 20 years of business experience in UK and India, 15 of which have been in the education sector in the UK and internationally. Prior to joining ACCA, Ren worked for ABE as Regional Director Asia. He's a passionate professional with experience of both private and public sector organizations, possessing a unique understanding of the relationships between the two. He's an accomplished international business development professional with an exceptional track record in developing new client business, converting sales opportunities, and improving profit margins within the education sector. Ren possesses a sound business sense with excellent leadership qualities proven by leading and nurturing international teams and projects across the globe. Welcome, Ren. Our next dignitary is Mr. Prashant Javanjal. Prashant Javanjal has been working for ACCA as head of South India, Karnataka, AP, and Telangana states. And he's based out of Bangalore. He has done Bachelor's of Engineering from Nagpur University and Management Studies from Indian Institute of Management, Raipur. He has enriching experience of around 18 years while working with various MNCs in the education and training, IT, ITES, and knowledge solution industry. During his 4 years of association with ACCA, he's managing and supporting all the key stakeholder relationships, including universities, colleges, schools, learning partners, and employers in the region, enabling the growth of ACCA brand in the market. The session will be moderated by Mr. N. Mullidharan. Mr. N. Mullidharan has been associated with the education sector for more than 25 years, of which 20 plus years he has been advising some of the prestigious institutions across the country. He is the Pro Vice Chairman of Delhi Public School, CHAS. He also heads Union Educational Services Private Limited. He has double post-graduation in the intellectual property law and systems management. He is a recipient of double gold medal in his PG in systems management. He has authored 6 books and is also the editor for a student newspaper and a first of its kind school magazine, Young Pioneer. Welcome, Murli. We'll be presenting you with a feedback form after the seminar. I would request all the members of the audience to please fill the feedback form. Certificate of participation will be shared with all the audience members automatically once the feedback form is filled. With this, I would like to give the mic to Mr. Murli. Over to you, Murli.
Thank you, Rohan, for that wonderful welcome. Good evening, everybody. At the outset, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Manila ma'am for agreeing to host the show at such a short notice and also agreeing to be present here today. Thank you so much, ma'am. The Bangalore audience has been great. We have had overwhelming response to this event, and I'm thankful to each one of you for taking out your time to attend this event today. I'll begin with the idea of hosting this event. What is the purpose of this event? As you're aware, there is so much gloom all around. We want to build some positive vibes in this situation. We want to talk about making best of the situation. We want to discuss about new opportunities that can be availed in this time. There is so much innovation happening around. As a matter of fact, I came across this news where in Thailand, a mall is experimenting with elevators that have foot controls. So instead of selecting buttons to indicate your destination, you can use your foot on a pedal. Touching door handles is such an omnipresent part of our life that most people could not count how many times they have done it all day. However, Now there is a door handle which is facing the maximum problem with the infection spreading around. So new clips, hooks are being invented, innovated, which can be used to open doors. We have robots being used in Singapore to maintain social distancing in the parks. And there are robots which are delivering books, drones which are delivering books and essentials in non-safe zones. So business vision will be crucial for whatever comes next. Business have to be imaginative, bold, and forward-looking as it moves into the post-pandemic world. Today, we will be interacting with industry leaders on career and study opportunities that you can avail of in this pandemic time. We are going to have eminent panelists joining us today on the show. And remember, they are as excited to take your questions. Please type your questions in the question and answer chat box. We will try to pick as many questions as possible to present before the panelist. Please do type in your name along with the question. And before we begin with our first panelist, as Rohan mentioned, we would like you to know that you'll be awarded a certificate of participation. To get the certificate, you need to fill the feedback form link, which will be displayed at the end of the program. So stay tuned and look forward to an exciting evening. We have our first panelist for the day, Manila ma'am. And ma'am, thank you for being here. It's a great privilege to have you with us today. At the outset, I would like to know how the situation is in Bangalore as such, because all of us, all the panelists from being from other city, would like to know what is the situation in Bangalore there right now.
Yeah, right now the infection is spreading, cases are going up, but I hope and presume our children are safe back home, because we do talk to them on everyday basis when we conduct the classes. Our teachers are in touch with them, so they're all safe with their families at home at the moment.
Right. Ma'am, we understand the schools are undergoing a tough time. Teachers are trying to cope with technology and online teaching, and schools adapting to the new ways of operation. But how has the situation affected the students? How are they coping with no schools and online classes?
Children are very much disappointed because they're not able to come to school and spend time with their friends in the most, sort of areas of the campus, especially the cafeteria or in the play area and the bus parking. These are the things which they're missing. And apart from that, they used to have regular interaction with the teacher in the classes. So it is not only the children who are missing, even the teachers are missing them terribly. And hats off to the teachers who immediately shifted to online teaching rather than putting their hands up saying, no, we are not used to. They immediately adapted to the new change. And it's a salute for all the teachers all over who are doing a tremendous job in imparting education through online. And we have created WhatsApp group and where children are in touch with the teachers. And we have told them to message them in case they want to have a one-to-one chat with the teacher. So just to give them emotional support as well. But of course, children are not liking online much because whenever classes are going on, their parents behind were standing and watching at them.
Right.
Adolescents, not like much, but there is no other way. Hope the school starts very soon and want to have them back in school.
Right. That's great to hear, ma'am. And the last day when we were discussing about the commerce students in stream, you were saying that how the trend has changed in the last few years and students are opting for commerce by choice. And I suppose this is being reflected in the board results also, the wonderful results that we see in commerce. So as on date, what would you say is the biggest challenge that a commerce student has?
Of course, the children have been doing very well these days, and a lot of children are taking. In fact, initially we used to have very few children in not even as one section. So now we have about 4 sections going up, and a lot of children who are extremely doing well have moved into commerce. Maybe commerce do not have coaching classes. That must be giving a lot of stress relief for the children and the parents. And these commerce children are enjoying their learning because with their studies, they're able to focus on their extracurricular activities in nurturing their talents, and they're able to participate in the family functions and a lot of competitions and so on. So that is what they're enjoying. And the problem what these children are, commerce children are facing is they do not have right direction. Not many organizations are coming forward to direct the children in the right direction. So what are the career options these children have? Because we have many centers, we are coming mainly for science stream, but commerce, very few, hardly any competition. So I think many organizations should come forward to guide these children how to take their career path ahead. And now because of the technology, the job opportunities in the markets have totally changed. I think we need to get back to the children when they are in the school level to tell them they need to train themselves to get into the jobs. Otherwise, by the time they finish their college level, the job market, they'll be redundant there because they're not trained to take up. They're not trained with those skills that are required to match the market.
Right. Right. So, ma'am, I mean, as you rightly pointed out, there is so much of innovation happening around new business ideas, new products, new services, markets being driven by ideas and business here to never imagined. The most of these innovations that are happening, although we have commerce stream in the 11th and 12th, but the science students who are the majority in our school system as on date, they do not have any exposure to accountancy or the basic finance sensitization happening. Do you think that we should have this across all students? We should have finance as a part of the curriculum?
It is definitely required because it is commerce children are more into, finally, they're becoming entrepreneurs or taking up somebody else's business and so on. But it is not that science children will not get into this. Some kind of exposure given to them also is equally good. I'm very happy with the CBSE coming up where, coding needs to be given, taught to be children right from and upwards. So some kind of knowledge is imparted to the children right from the lower classes. So by the time they come to 11, 12, they know which stream to opt for or what are the subject they can choose. So that will help them in the further career.
Ma'am, you spoke on a very crucial topic that is of the skill gap that exists. I mean, in terms of the children becoming redundant with the kind of curriculum if they don't stay up to date. So in spite of having infrastructure in most of the schools, good infrastructure, lab facility, and we have a very good curriculum in place, still there seems to be a big skill gap that exists in terms of the students that come out from our education system and the requirement of the industry itself. What do you think we can do at the school level to fill this skill gap?
Yeah, I think we need to give some kind of internship for the children or a project work where they can be associated with some industry. Because what happened, the personal visit to the industry is not permitted because of their age. So at least, virtual, some kind of balance sheet could be shared and some person can be, guided from that. Because these days, a lot of opportunities are given for the science children, but Cisco does, Intel does, Infosys does, but nobody there for these commerce children. Very few children who have taken computers as one of the subjects get into for coding and things like that. Otherwise, they are not getting chances at all. So I think the industries who are focusing mainly on these commerce students must come out with innovative ideas, how to help out these children so that the career, whatever they have taken, should match. Because whatever they learn in the school, sometimes it doesn't match the industry at all. There's a lot of gap between the two. We have done the graduation, but what I'm working there is totally different. So if those exposures are given to the children when they're in the pre-university college level, things like that definitely help out the children.
Right. So I suppose, ma'am, would you say that, I mean, if we have some kind of a hands-on experience for these children enabled at the school level, it would make a big impact, I mean, in terms of the school students being much better geared up with the skill sets that they need in the industry?
Yes, definitely. Both for commerce and humanities stream, there is no hand-holding is done by anybody. I think you all should come forward and do something for these children. They'll be more than grateful to you all for guiding them at the right age in the right direction.
Ma'am, then we have got a very good news for you today. So we will announce that on the show. But before that, I think on this skill gap issue, we'll move out to our next panelist for today, Mr. Jeevan Shashidharan. Welcome to the show, Jeevan.
Thank you, Murli.
Right. Jeevan, you first, before we start with questions, I think a brief introduction about you. So you have been working with Ernst & Young for past 7 years. So can you just tell our audience here what exactly does EY do?
Sure. So good evening, everybody. Ernst & Young is a global consulting firm, and we're called the Big Four consulting firms, and in the league of KPMG, Deloitte, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. So Ernst & Young is one of the Big Four consulting firms. We are structured into 4 departments globally, which we call service lines. So the first department is called assurance, which takes care of external audit or the statutory audit that all companies need to do. Also a little bit on the financial accounting advisory services, and fraud investigation and dispute services is also something that's done under assurance. Climate change and sustainability is also something big that we do in assurance. So, which helps companies to look at the elements related to sustainability reporting and the actions that they are taking in respect of climate change. The second service line is tax service line, which of course from the name suggests that it helps clients solve their problems on the taxation related compliance and other things. People advisory services is also part of our tax service line, which looks at the overall gamut of all the advisory services relating to the people who are the biggest assets of organizations. The third service line is called consulting, where we help our companies or clients consulting services on their business operations and also on their technology operations. And the fourth service line, of course, is strategy and transactions, where we help companies to devise their strategies and also to look at transactions when they get into mergers and acquisitions, to help them do valuations, help them do business modeling, and structure the transactions is what we support under strategy and transactions. So the four departments offering varied range of services all across the globe. So that's what EY does.
So I suppose, given what you have mentioned, you seem to be touching every single industry.
Every single industry, yes.
Right. So that with the kind of, if you're touching all industry, you must have so much of information that is coming down from every industry. You're in touch with industry, what is happening in every industry.
Yes.
Would you say that this pandemic is actually creating newer opportunities?
Of course, the pandemic is creating a lot of new opportunities across industries. The focus now with, be it any industry, all industries have got affected. So the focus is to tackle the now. When I say now, it's about dealing with the situation at this moment. How can you, look at continuing your business? So, how can you look at your business continuity plans and look at continuing your business the way it is? How can you better engage with your people who are, probably remotely working, and gear up to facing the now is the first priority at this point. And the next priority, what we see for industries, is to go to the new. Right now, to prepare, relook at their strategies, revisit their strategies on identifying, the new ways of serving their customers or the new ways of, fulfilling their supply chain requirements. Right. So that is where the opportunity is coming. Soon after the COVID situation is easing up, all companies, all industries are expected to relook at their strategies and look at different ways of working, and that's where all this opportunity is coming. And digital and technology is at the heart of all the new opportunities that's going to come up. So when I say technology, I'm not saying that there is opportunity only for the technology graduates. I'm saying that we would need finance professionals and technology professionals who work together to create the new future, the new world, and the new working world that is in store for us in the post-COVID era.
Okay, Jeevan, keeping in view that we have majority of commerce students as audience today, so would you say that the future for the commerce students looks bright post-pandemic?
Definitely, we would definitely have a large demand for commerce students, especially with the foundational finance and accounting, qualifications, and the attitude change is, what we will expect. The way we do audits, the way finance professionals work has completely changed drastically. We would need professionals with strong foundational skills in finance and commerce, plus those additional skills in technology and digital, because they will need to be operating in a highly digital environment. So that's so foundational qualifications plus some technology and digital skills is what we are looking at for the future job roles.
Great. Jeevan, the audience would like to know more about you, and I understand that you have done company secretaryship, you have done MBA, and then you have completed your ACCA also. Is that right?
Yes.
So with so many qualification, has each of these qualification added any specific skill set to your profile?
Definitely. So each qualification has its own, value add that gives to you. And I am one person who believes that learning should never stop. age is not a matter. You should continue learning and acquiring new skills as we move forward in our professional lives. So I started off with my BCom, and during my BCom I did my company secretaryship intern, post which I landed in a job with HDFC. And so I completed my company secretaryship course, and that's when I got this opportunity to work with KPMG, where I could then use my skills gathered in corporate laws, corporate governance specifically, to advise clients on the various compliance requirements. Although I was part of the department called Governance, Risk and Compliance Services, where there is a lot of advice that we provide to clients on their governance structures, on their risk and compliances. And CS definitely helped me to have that added advantage to better interpret regulations, to have that knowledge of the regulations, and to better interpret the regulations that keeps on changing on a day-to-day basis. So that's what CS has added to my profile. MBA helped me to look at more strategic, to be more strategic, to understand the business strategies, and to be able to advise clients, or talk to the when you talk to the top officials of companies, talk to the same language of business strategies. And when I moved into EY, which was quite recently, that I realized that the entire world is moving into IFRS. So I work for the Middle East and the North Africa region, where they've recently adopted IFRS, and all their companies have been asked to move to IFRS. That's when I decided that okay, I need to sharpen my IFRS knowledge, and also need to stand out to be able to advise clients on the IFRS compliance requirements that they have to go through. That's when I decided to do ACCA. So the best thing ACCA has given to me is my the IFRS knowledge that I gathered out of the course, and also that I could realize that every content that is part of the ACCA curriculum is so beautifully packaged, and it's very relevant to the day-to-day activities that we do at our office. So I would say that ACCA is one of the best qualifications that really gears you up to face the real life challenges that professional firms like us has to offer.
Right.
And recently I'm also doing my data visualization course, which is on the analytics side, so that I'm doing it internally with EY. That's because there's a lot of buzz around technology, and the way we look at data is completely changed. We need to visualize data and get interesting insights out of them. So I've just completed my Power BI visualization course, about last week. So I would say learning should continue. You should keep identifying what are the new skills that you need to acquire, and keep doing whatever adds value to you.
Right. Jeevan, introduction of 2 minutes has already brought in more than 70 questions for you on these different qualifications. So before I get into that questions, we'll come to the questions at the end after all the panelists have been introduced to the audience. So, but then one question which lingers, which I would like to take it up right now, is that in India, CA is more popular. I mean, rather, I suppose it's one of the most popular kind of a course with the commerce students. In spite of that, you chose ACCA over CA. Why?
The simple answer is the global relevance and the global validity that it has. And I personally, had to work on the foreign market, which is Middle East and North Africa, where IFRS is what is applied, and ACCA was the qualification that stood out in that region. And another aspect for me as an individual was the flexibility that the course offers. You have your luxury of taking one exam at a time, even if that's required, spread over 4 sessions in a year. So IFRS and flexibility is my take, for taking up ACCA.
Oh, right. Thank you, Jeevan. We will be coming back with a lot of questions for you. But now let's try to connect to Ms. Ren. Ren is joining us from London. So while we are connecting with Ren, let's have a small video which we'd like to showcase on behalf of ACCA.
To explore the depths of faith. Transported people to far-flung destinations here on Earth. We've qualified those who are helping save lives, fighting against disease, and those providing much-needed food to the hungry and vulnerable. We've helped people achieve goals, from football to emerging technologies, and even assisted those who have strode down catwalks from Paris to Milan. Because behind all these industries and many more, in over 181 countries, there's a finance professional, trained and supported by ACCA. Find out where ACCA could take you.
I can't hear Murli. I'm not sure whether.
Yeah. Is it audible
yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Right.
I can.
So welcome to the show, Ren.
Thank you, Murli.
So Ren, how is the situation in London today?
Yeah, I mean, when I look out of the balcony, what I see is 34 degrees. I mean, it's 34 degrees in London, so it's very sunny today. I mean, which is not very normal in the UK. But yeah, situation in London is quite improving. Government has opened up shops, supermarkets, restaurants, etc. And of course, we still have to maintain the social distancing guidelines.
Right. So Ren, have the schools opened in UK?
So schools, I mean, so they opened. They're doing it in a staggered way. They opened some of the classes, but currently, what is happening is that now in the UK we have got the summer holidays. So September they would be reopening the schools, and I'm sure like all the schools would be back in operations, and students would be going back to the schools.
Right. So Ren, we had Jeevan explaining to us why he went for ACCA over CA. So just like to understand from you what ACCA is all about.
Yeah, thank you, Murli. So I have to say that I'm so happy to be part of this webinar and representing the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, that's ACCA. We are a 116-year-old global professional accountancy body that was established in the UK in the year 1904, and we are present in over 179 countries around the globe. So, as everyone knows, and as Jeevan has explained as well, accountancy is a profession that works to the very highest standards and improves and accountancy. We do have a responsibility to improve the societies where we are present. To ensure that these high standards are maintained, we do award qualifications as well. So ACCA qualification delivers cross-sector accounting and finance knowledge, skills and professional and ethical values needed in all organizations and every industry.
Oh, great. And I mean, you are present across how many countries?
Around 181 countries, you know, to be precise.
Okay, that's a big number. So Ren, just to understand, so what is exactly the recognition of ACCA qualification across the world?
So as I said before, Murli, ACCA is present. We are present in over 181 countries. We have 17 joint examination partnerships with national accounting bodies around the world that allows the trainees to qualify using the ACCA qualification structure. And we also work with accountancy bodies in Cyprus, Malawi, Botswana, Zambia, Africa to establish joint continuing professional development programs. We do have more than 98 global partnerships with accountancy bodies. So our partnerships actually allow our members to work internationally, complying with regulations in marketplaces worldwide. Jeevan mentioned that he works for EY, one of the big four. So we do have globally partnerships with over 7,400 employers, big four, then multinational companies, corporates, big and small.
Right. Ren, so what is the kind of presence that you have in India?
So India, so we had been present in India for the past 5 years, I would say, and we do have 4 offices in Delhi, one in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, and Chennai. And in fact, we have got over in this past 5 years, we've got over 40,000 students studying, taking up a qualification, different levels of the qualification. We work with over 98 universities. Highly reputable universities. I mean, I believe. I mean, in Bangalore, we work with Christ University, St. Joseph's, Mount Carmel, some of the premier institutions as well.
Right. Great, Prashant. So I think it's time to take Prashant, our 4th panelist for the day, so that he can tell us about the kind of work that we are doing in India. So Prashant, welcome to the show. So Prashant, unmute.
Yeah.
Prashant? Yeah, thank you. Prashant, could you please explain to the audience here how ACCA is relevant to them?
Yeah, a very important question, Murli. And I think I need to go back to the founding values of ACCA, which says that we want to give opportunity to deserving people across the globe. And ACCA really believes in introducing the professional concepts to the students at an early age. The idea is to set the right approach, right mindset, and get the right foundation. And that's why if you see the program is also called as Foundations in Accountancy. Now, what ACC observed is the ACC curriculum for the first level of program, that is the FIA, and the curriculum of CBSE have similar subjects. The concepts are similar. And when we did the mapping, we found that it was apt to introduce the FIA at the 11th and 12th standard. And being a forward-thinking body and the desire to give opportunity to deserving students, ACCA was the first body to introduce a professional qualification at the school level.
So Prashant, you're saying that a student in school can enroll for this professional qualification. Is that what you are saying?
Yes, absolutely. Because yeah.
Okay. So that's wonderful. So, but then Prashant, there is a practical challenge that I can see here. A student in class 11th and 12th is already under tremendous pressure, study pressure, right? With all their board examination and the quantum of study that they need to do. So do you think it would be a good idea to take another qualification along with their studies in the school?
Yeah, so as I said, basis the mapping, the subjects are similar, what the students are studying in 11th and 12th and what an FIA program would offer. Now, this, as the students are not learning something different or it's not an additional stuff, if you see on the reality side, FIA is actually complementing to what they're studying in 11th and 12th. So that helps them to prepare for the school exam, the board exams. And moreover, the most important aspect is that they get to learn the hands-on, the practical application of the concepts, what they learn. And remember that the students should remember that the approach of applying what you have learned in a real-time scenario will help them to become a skilled professional. So that's actually complementing to whatever they're doing.
Okay. So Prashant, you said that there are common factors between ACCA's FIA curriculum and the CBSE or the school curriculum in 11th and 12th. So can you just tell the audience about which are the subjects which are common, or what is it that they need to study additional?
Yeah. So the foundations and accountancy of ACCA covers 3 papers. Those are accountant in business, financial accounting, and management accounting. And these 3 subjects actually are there to provide skills and techniques that are relevant for a role in finance. And it includes skills such as recording financial transactions, managing costs and finance, and maintaining financial records. And at the end of these 3 papers, the student gets a diploma in accounting and business. So that's how the program is structured.
Okay. Prashant, students studying in 11th and 12th is very excited about the fact that this is going to be the last few years in the school. I mean, ultimately, they are going to get their freedom from the school system, move into college and enjoy the freedom there available there. But then there is one apprehension that is always there in the student's mind, is of getting into a good college or university. So will taking up this additional load at the school level for an international qualification like ACCA, will that help in getting admission to good colleges in the country?
Very relevant question, Murli. So I think whatever somebody does, they have to think in the long term. And ACC also have set up the entire qualification in a manner that every student who starts at the young age, especially the 11th and 12th class students, have an opportunity to transit to the main qualification. Now the advantage with the FIA students, so let's say somebody has done the FIA in 11th and 12th, and when they're looking for doing a graduation among one of the premium institutions across the country, and as Ren, my colleague, has already mentioned, that ACC has partnered with almost the top 100 premium universities and autonomous institutions of the country. And it's not that ACCA sort of goes and approaches them. It's on the other side that these institutions want their curriculum to be accredited with ACCA, and they want to sign MOU with ACCA. So the likes of Christ, Keaton, Symbiosis, Narsi Munji, Loyola, St. Joseph's, VIT, KL University. So all these premium institutions in the country are running the ACCA qualification. And the advantage to the FIA students is that when they seek an admission to these universities, the qualification criteria gives them a preferential treatment. So like I'm on the panel of Christ University to recruit or do the admissions for the ACCA program there, and for 150 seats, Christ receives more than 5,000 applications there. So the students have to go through a written test, an interview, they have to write essays. But the most important aspect that the university sees is, does the student have some background of ACCA? Does have he done something already with ACCA? And if they find somebody who's done FIA, they have preferential treatment, additional marks are allotted to them. So that's the advantage.
Right. So Prashant, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is that pursuing FIA at the school level is going to give them a preferential treatment when they go for admission to colleges and universities in the country, the ones in which ACCA already has a tie-up, right? Is that right?
Absolutely. That's
right. Okay. So Ren, I have a question here. If a student is planning to study abroad, will undergoing this course at the school level, FIA, will it help the student?
Absolutely, it'll definitely help. So students who complete the FIA will get a diploma in accounting and business, which is as per the regulated qualification framework. That is like the national qualification framework in the UK. So it's equivalent to a first year of a degree program in the UK. So students who are completing the FIA qualification and who want to study abroad, they will get credits through accreditation of prior learning. And I'm also sure that the FIA qualification will definitely help the students to navigate and balance the significant challenges that we face today in the world, and also turn them into opportunities for their future.
Right. Ren, before I ask you the next question, I would like to inform the audience that we will be taking up your questions after we have the first round of discussion with our panelists. So type in your questions along with your name so that we can take it up with our panelists. So you can even ask questions directly to a particular panelist also by typing in their name. Ren, our next question which I have for you is there any difference in pursuing ACCA in India or from any other country?
Absolutely no difference. A student pursuing ACCA from UK or India, Singapore, Canada, or maybe Dubai or Australia will be going through the same curriculum, same set of exams, and will be awarded the same qualification.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. So Prashant, coming back to you, while international qualification sounds prestigious, any international qualification is very high in cost. The cost of acquiring it is very high. So, and also the living cost in that foreign country is mind-boggling. So are we concluding that international qualification is for the rich, or is there any scope for other students also?
Yeah, very important question, Murli. So I think if you want to ask me, and at the student age, a couple of attributes, what they should always have is they should be really alert. They should gather information, relevant information, which would really help them. And one of today's webinar is actually providing them that information, which if you see the international qualification, if you want to do a graduation, whether it is a BCom or a BSc, whether it's UK or US, in Indian rupees, the cost would range from around 40 to 50 lakhs. It's the cost of the fees there, the living cost, and all the other costs.
Right. Okay.
But if you see, when you do ACCA, within the single qualification, you get additional opportunity to do a BSc in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University, London, which is one of the premium institutions across the globe. And this degree you get once you complete the 9 papers of ACCA. Then you have to submit a dissertation and a thesis, a research report. Once approved, you get the same degree which an on-campus student would get. And you can attend the convocation, you go to the campus there, Malaysia or Dubai as well.
Jivan, Prashant, sorry to interrupt. What is the qualification? What is the degree that they can get after completing 9 papers?
That is BSc in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University.
Oxford Brookes University. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And is there anything else?
Yeah. And at the strategic level, once they've completed the 9 papers and they're about to finish the 13 papers, there is an opportunity to do an MSc in Professional Accountancy from University of London, which is in the top 10 universities of the globe. Right. So within one qualification, you get the ACCA qualification, you become a ACCA member after 3 years of experience. You can get BSc in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes University and MSc in Professional Accountancy from University of London. And I think that's really smart planning. And at the 1/10 of the cost, right here in India, you can accomplish all these 3 attributes to your resume. And just imagine the kind of resume you have when you go to the employers. It's a very strong case you make for yourself.
Right. That makes a strong point, Prashant. So, Prashant, what is the kind of support that a student can expect when they are doing this FIA? I understand FIA you mentioned as Foundation in Accountancy, which is the first 3 papers of ACCA. So, Prashant, how many papers are there in total in ACCA to qualify ACCA?
So, in all, there are 13 papers. And,
13 papers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is
so out of first 3 is being called as Foundation in Accountancy. Right. Yeah. Okay. So they found, what is the kind of support that we can expect, the students can expect?
So any student who goes through the FIA program, they will be supported with the study material. They would be supported with a tuition, whether it is face-to-face, online or blended. And the entire study material tuition would cover all the subjects that would help them to pass the ACCA exam, and as I said before, also help them in clearing their board exams as well. Also during this period, we expose them to our young members and a lot of ACCA resources which we feel are relevant at this age.
Okay, so how does a student get into this FIA program?
So we have a test which is called the IAPT test for this. Where the student can write the test. Currently, the registration fees for this test is around 1,000 rupees, but as a support to all our students, it is waived off. So I really recommend the students to take the IAPT test.
So is this an online or an offline test, Prashant?
This is
online test?
Online. Right. It's an online test, and yeah, the students can take it on.
Okay. And what about the ACCA examination themselves? Once they complete the course, how do they take the examination for ACCA papers?
So at this level, ACCA has a provision of on-demand examinations. So in a normal scenario, we have our test centers at various locations across the country where the students can go whenever they are ready, and they can book an exam of their choice and on a date, and they can write the exam. They get the results instantly. But considering the current situation where external examinations are not happening, we ventured into the remote proctored exams where students had the advantage or the privilege of taking the exams right from their home. So ACC extended that support to the students so that they're not deprived of taking the examinations.
So Prashant, I can keep my book open and give the examination right from my home. Yeah, that's
so
allowed?
it's not an open book exam. It's an
Right.
as I said, it's a remotely proctored exam. So you will be under invigilation by somebody who is monitoring about the exams. But I think it's an important aspect that the students are
Right.
getting this benefit here.
Okay. Okay. So Ren, I just would like to know from here that if I'm pursuing ACCA, but I'm not enrolling for a graduation in an Indian college or university, will that work?
Definitely, Murli. In fact, one of the you asked a question, very relevant question to Jeevan and at the beginning.
Right.
Why did he choose ACCA over some of the other qualifications? One of the relevant points that he mentioned was that it's the flexibility. So that's a very advantage of the ACC qualification. So if you look at most of the professional qualifications, that requires students to complete the higher secondary levels or A levels, whereas with the ACCA, students get a head start. The average age when professional accountants qualify is around 25. However, with this route, they can complete the qualification even before turning 20, the whole ACCA qualification. So we have one such example in Mumbai. His name is Jatin Kalra, who went through this FIA route in school, who is one of the youngest directors at Grant Thornton GT, and he became a director at the age of 26. So that's the advantage.
So Ren, you mentioned that if somebody's taking the ACCA route, they can complete by the age of 20, which which basically means they're saving 5 whole years.
Definitely.
Is that what you're saying?
Definitely.
So 5 years. So 5 years of starting off career, they begin their career early. They get the promotions early, and they get to retire early and spend that 5 years roaming around the world, enjoying life.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I wish I had that opportunity, you know.
Right. Yeah, I was also feeling the same. Right. Thank you, Ren. But then, Ren, we have been talking to Manila ma'am was also mentioning, and Jeevan also mentioned about the skill gap that exists in the industry vis-a-vis the education and the students when they come out from the university and colleges. How does ACCA fill the skill gap that exists in the industry?
Definitely. I mean, one of the things that I wanted to say, okay, now that's a very good question. In fact, before going into that, I just wanted to give you an overview of the skills landscape or the higher secondary education landscape. So India has got more than around 1.5 million schools and more than 240 million students enrolled in these schools. So, and India has got one of the largest education systems in the world, which is comparable to China. So every year, it is estimated that nearly 28 million students, that's around 280 lakh students, complete the higher secondary level education. They give the +2 examination, come out. So that also gives a sense of competition in the market as well. So out of this 28 million, around 18% of the students, that's around approximately 5 million or 50 lakh students, are from a commerce stream. And then they go on to complete an undergraduate degree in commerce or related stream. So let's look at the current Indian scenario. It's estimated that nearly 60% of the graduates in the country do not have the relevant skills that employers are looking for. So a degree is no longer enough to secure a job. Employers are looking for graduates who can prove they have got good technical skills, communication skills, advanced digital literacy, strong team working abilities, as well as relevant work experience. So with a huge number of applicants competing for the same role, you need to make sure that you stand out through your involvements and achievements. So if we take the case of commerce accounting stream, so only 2.59% of the commerce accounting graduates are considered employable in accounting or finance function. It's less than 3% of the graduates in commerce and accounting accountancy have the relevant skills that employers are looking for, and that shows the kind of skills gap the younger generation is facing as well. That's one of the reasons why the government of India, through its national skill policy, among others, set a target to impart skill development training to over 500 million people by 2022. And the current capacity for skill development programs is just over 3.1 million. So that's why, like, I mean, ACCA Unayan working with Sahodaya schools to ensure that the students get an opportunity right from a very early age to bridge this gap. And another thing is that the students who complete the ACCA qualification actually get the 12 key competencies that employers are looking for.
Okay, wonderful.
So that's how this skills gap.
Right. So I think, Ren, I would like to take this opportunity to convey to ma'am the offer that ACCA has for all the schools here. Ma'am, ACCA through Unayan is offering a business cum accountancy lab free of cost, which is set up in all the schools, and which is basically to give a hands-on experience to the students. So this lab has been constructed such that students can actually experience share market trading. They can experience business dynamics. They have a lot of games that they can actually try out. And they also have different trivias, case studies, as you rightly pointed out, balance sheet of different companies. So this will have an archive of all top 100 companies' balance sheets across multiple years. So they can compare and they can analyze. And as a matter of fact, guest speakers will be coming in to help them with the different activities in the lab also. And this is an offering that is being made free of cost to all the schools across the country.
Thank you so much.
Right. Right, ma'am. So coming back, I will just take up one major question, Prashant, that we have. The course sounds nice, but then what is it? What are the job opportunities, employment opportunities in India after completing ACCA?
Yeah, Murli, I can tell you with my experience, it's immense opportunities that AC is rolling out in India. And it is not only with the big four or the traditional shared services companies, but it is across industries, whether it is IT, manufacturing, pharma. So we have got jobs from these sectors consistently, and the industry is demanding trained professionals from ACC and their partners. But I would like to share an interesting fact that during last 3 years, we were not able to supply what the demand is. So there are huge opportunities, different roles. Jeevan, our member, already talked about what are the different profiles or roles an ACCA can play within the employers. Just to share an example, from April till date, we already have around 1,400 jobs rolled out by the employers to us. So, and very difficult to find affiliates and members who would apply for this job. So we definitely want the students to pursue this program and fast as possible and become an ACCA affiliate and member.
Great. I think I'll ask this question to Jeevan also. So Jeevan, you being in the industry, what do you think are the prospects of ACCA? What do you see from the other side?
Yes, definitely. We hire FCCAs across all the 4 departments. Be it our audit practice or our consulting practice. So under consulting practice, we have a specific domain focusing only on finance. So where we help to solve the problems faced by the CFOs, and then strategy and transactions, of course, needs valuation skills, business modeling skills, and all those which is very well part of the ACCA curriculum, and of course the tax practice also needs ACCA. So across all the departments, we do see a lot of opportunities coming up, and especially these opportunities, I would say the largest number of opportunities come up with MNCs, because we have a lot of MNCs in India which cater to their onshore units across the globe, and that's where these international qualifications play a big role, because we would want people with those international qualifications to be able to understand and appreciate the requirements of our global stakeholders. And yesterday I saw a job posting from ACCA where BDO in India has set up their US offshoring center where they've opened 100 job opportunities for ACCA qualified professionals. And during these times, I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that.
Right, great. That's wonderful news. Prashant, I just have one major question that we want to know. Although you mentioned that we have 100 plus universities in which ACCA has a tie-up, so is it possible that you can list out some of the colleges, the top ones that you have, so that the audience can know what are the kind of colleges that they can look forward to if they complete the FIA qualification?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, the likes of Christ University, Geetham, Symbiosis, Narsimhanji, St. Joseph's College of Commerce, Loyola, CMR, Sharda University, GD Goenka University. So these are all top universities. I cannot name all the 100 what we have, but I can assure the students that the program that runs in these universities is at par with any international program, and the kind of opportunity the student get when they graduate is absolutely different. So I would really like to make a point that the program actually is ensuring a student after the FIR not only graduation but a professional program, and I think the student at this level should definitely know the difference between a normal graduate or a professional, and I think ACCA gives all those skills to make the students a world-class professional.
Great. Prashant, now I think it is time we move on to the audience question. But before we move on, can you just tell us what is the next step for a student? So for the audience here, like what is it that they should do if they are interested in your ACCA?
Yeah, so the students have to go on the site cforcommerce.com and take the IAPT exam. That's MCQ based exams, and I believe, as I said earlier, we're not charging any fees for the students, just to support them. And in fact, the students who score good marks in this are also likely to get some scholarships. So I think that's a very good proposition.
Great. Thank you, Prashant. So we have some very interesting questions coming up from the audience. And before we move to the questions, I would like to apprise the audience that we will be displaying a feedback link at the end of the show. And you need to fill out this feedback form, and you'll be eligible for the certificate of participation. So moving to the questions, we have a lot of questions coming in. So one question, Prashant, which is there, I'll start with you, is that can a student who is in class 10th currently appear for IAPT?
Yes. Yes, the student who is there in class 10 can certainly appear for this exam. So when they move to 11th and 12th, they can enroll for the FIE program.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now I have a question for Jeevan. Jeevan, the question is that is coming in is, would you say that, ACCA and CA, which is more difficult?
Okay. See, as I mentioned earlier, CA has the group system. Where we still need to appear for 4 papers together, and then you will need to pass in all the 4 papers, and you need to have an aggregate of 50%. But ACCA, the beauty is that there is a lot of flexibility, and you can write the exam 4 times a year, and you can even have the flexibility to write 1 exam at a time. And that writing that 1 exam at a time plays a vital role, because you can put all your focus on that particular paper and master that paper than running around between 4 papers. So the amount of stress that you go through writing an Indian CA exam is much higher as compared to writing a ACCA exam. But the content is almost all the content is the same. It's all finance and accounting that's taught in both the courses.
Right. Okay. So the next question that we have, Jeevan, is if I want to get into top-notch investment banks.
Yeah.
So what is it that I should choose as a career option? What do I need to study?
Yeah. Investment banks, it's a good job opportunity, but then the foundation is something that you will need to build initially. right? So I've seen people, aspiring for investment banks do their foundational course in accountancy to start with, which will give you a good grip of the valuations and the portfolio management and all those aspects that you need to get a grip of. And then I've seen people pursuing the CFA course after you have your foundational professional qualification built in. So I would suggest an ACCA plus a CFA, is something that candidates could look out for if investment bank is something that, that's in the equity.
Okay, this question came from Bhuvan, and the next question is from Sharda, who has a question that what if I don't want to get into CA and ACCA? Are there any career options for available for commerce student? Any other career options?
Yes, definitely. Commerce students have a wide range of career options. Be it your the regular business roles like your sales and marketing or your operational roles. You have a wide range of career options that is left to you. But then having that professional knowledge of finance and accounting is something that will actually add to an icing on the top of the cake in whatever role you are, because you find that people with no finance and accounting background or knowledge lack that decision making power, or they lack the skills to make certain decisions when they come to the real life business environment. But having said that, there is there is enormous opportunities that you have, so in strategy departments or in the operational departments or in marketing or sales or other departments. A lot of opportunities that you have for commerce students. So it all depends on the kind of professional course that you would want to pick up, after year 12, depending on your interest.
Okay. Okay. So we have one question because you mentioned about IFRS during your initial answer. So there are students who want to know what is IFRS, what is the difference between IAS and IFRS. This is a question coming in from multiple, and one is from Raj Lakshmi. So if you can just answer in brief, like not getting into too much of technicality, and telling us what IFRS is all about.
Yeah, so IFRS is International Financial Reporting Standards. It is the standard for accounting, that is recognized globally in multiple countries across the world, and even India is moving into IFRS. In a way, it is moving into IFRS because we have our own Indian accounting standards. But recently, India has issued something called the Ind AS, which is a very much a replica of the IFRS standard. So it is one, in a nutshell, it is one globally accepted standard for the way in which you should record or you should account in your books of accounts in organizations.
Okay, thank you, Jivan.
And just to add on, Murli, ACCA is one qualification that helps you get that proficient knowledge in the international financial reporting standards.
Great. So the next question is for Prashant from Rajlakshmi again. She wants to know, is there any possibility for a student in class 11th or 12th to complete the foundation level ACCA in the school itself?
Yes, certainly. Murli, before I answer that question, just to add what Jeevan was sharing. So ACCA being a forward-looking body, they introduced IFRS way back in 1996 in the qualification. So we're not only forward-thinking, but we want the students and the members to get the maximum advantage. Now, coming back to the question, definitely, as I said, FIA can be done while the student is there in 11th and 12th. We have a structure in which we ensure that during this 2 years time, the students are trained, the tuitions are provided, and the student also qualifies the ACCA examination during this tenure. So definitely they can do that.
Right. Okay. So I have a next question for Ren, because this seems to be very common term, artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence seems to be the future. So what are the opportunities available for a commerce student in AI? So how do they relate it? Ren, you're on mute.
Thank you, Murli. Who's asked this question?
They've not given their name, but we have more than 33 people supporting this question.
Okay. Well, one thing I want to say is that, like, I mean, the organizations with the COVID and everything, Jeevan did talk about business continuity, and organizations have to change the way in which they're working. And these are some of the disruptions that's happening, like you read about in everyday life. I mean, and you're using artificial intelligence. I mean, within
In every
organizations
organization.
now,
Yes, right.
in every walk of life. We talk about big
Correct.
data, blockchain, etc. I mean, it's all used in, and from a ACCA perspective, so ACCA qualification actually develops a students' digital and technology knowledge and builds the skills to analyze and evaluate financial and non-financial data. So the advantage is that students would be learning about artificial intelligence as well. So when they go into organizations, start working, I mean, these skills that they earn, one of the key competencies is the digital quotient. So that would definitely help them when they move into start with their career as well. And organizations around the world with the COVID pandemic, now everyone is focusing on virtual working, remote working, and they are moving into these more and more. And maybe, I don't know, Jeevan might be able to, from a industry perspective, Jeevan would be able to add some as well.
Yeah, I will just add on, Aren. Thank you for that. So EY has launched an MBA in technology. So this was widely advertised, MBA in technology. And this comes as a free course for every practitioner within EY. And we are, so by this course, what we are trying to do is we are training our finance professionals to pick up these skills. So in some of the courses that we need to do to get that MBA are certifications in artificial intelligence or robotics process automation or machine learning, right? So there is no hard and fast rule that commerce students can only learn this, right? So we have chartered accountants or finance professionals who are specializing in IT audits, who are a part of the cybersecurity audits, right? So it's all your flair that you need to learn the new skills or pick up the new skills, right? The certification programs are available globally, and all organizations are encouraging their their professionals to pick up these certifications. It doesn't matter whether you are a technology professional or a finance professional. Now, finance professionals, I see a lot of them picking up certifications on robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. So it's definitely doable.
Okay.
If you have the right flair.
Thank you. Right. Thank you, Jeevan. Then we have a very important question coming in. The question is that we understand that the current pandemic situation has forced us to have an online examination for ACCA. So once this pandemic subsides, can we have the paper pen mode back again?
So we are actually rolling out computer-based examinations across for all the papers, and I mean, the time is moved. Like, I mean, it's no longer like when you start working, when the students start working within organizations, Jeevan would be able to say that. I mean, or Prashant or any one of us, we don't use pen and paper. Like, I mean, nowadays it's straight. I mean, you start using your computers, laptops, and start working. You work on Excel sheets, and so. I don't think, like, I mean, we are going to go back to a paper and pen, but it's definitely going to be computer-based examination. And that actually helps and equips the students, gives them a flavor of what they're going to see when they start working.
Okay. Ren, I have a question from Jasmine Oberoi. She says that I have interest in going abroad for pursuing my career in accounting and finance. So what should I select right now? How should I go about it right now? We are assuming that she will be in class 11th or 12th.
I would say go for the FIA qualification. That's the best opportunity. As I said earlier, the Foundation in Accountancy FIA qualification in school would actually equip you, I mean, give you the enough credits. So tomorrow, if you want to pursue come to UK or any other country, the advantage is that this diploma in accounting and business that you do along with your 10th and 11th and 12th would definitely give you credits when you apply to a university to do a degree program. Not only that, so along with this ACCA qualification, the advantage, as Prashant said earlier, once you complete the 9 papers by just submitting a dissertation and a research proposal, you will get a BSc honors in applied accounting from Oxford Brookes University. Not only that, once you complete the ACCA qualification as well, there are more than 60 plus UK universities which would grant you, which would give you a award you a MSc in accounting and finance by just submitting a research proposal and a dissertation. So definitely doing the diploma in accounting and business, the FIA qualification in school would give you an added advantage if you are planning to go abroad and pursue a study abroad. It doesn't matter whether you're planning to go to UK or Canada or anywhere. This would definitely help you.
Right. Okay. Jeevan, I have a question from Jasmine for you. She says that in spite of the fact that ACCA is giving such a huge advantage, why is it that CA is still considered the best course in commerce?
Interesting. So CA is, considered to be the toughest, and I think it's most, it's more of a perception, I would say, than the real scenario. But then, the CA goes through a lot of articleship training that they get, during the 3.5 years of journey that that takes them to the qualification. So they are perceived to be more job ready because they go through that grilling all over 3.5 years. So they do get a preference, when it comes to employment opportunities. But I can assure you that that preference is only at the time of joining, right? So once you join an organization, you may, as an Indian CA, may get one level higher level than an ACCA. But then once you get into the job field, it's all your performance and your attitude and your ways of working and all that matters. It does not really matter whether you are an Indian CA or an ACCA. When it comes to appraisals, you are treated at par, and across on all our parameters, you are all treated at par. So as long as you're fulfilling your performance objectives and your goals that is given to you, there is no differentiation between an Indian CA or an ACCA. It's all about the perception that the market has created.
Right. Jeevan, there is I think this is one of the most important questions coming from an audience of all the questions, because this is what ultimately would take all the decisions as such. So this question is from Bharti. She wants to know, what is the average salary for a ACCA per annum?
Yeah, so typically, I only know about the Big Four salaries. Big Fours typically take ACCAs at a starting salary of about 5 to 6 lakhs, and they're placed at a level which is just below a senior. Which is you can move into the mid level, in a span of 1 or 2 years, depending on your performance.
Okay, because Jeevan, you have done this, so I'm taking this question from Manvi also to you, because you have done CS, you have done MBA and ACCA. So her question is ACCA relevant for students who want to get into management?
Definitely. ACCA gives you a lot of skills. As I said in the beginning, every content that is covered as part of the curriculum is so relevant to the jobs that we do on a day-to-day basis. Starting from whether it be the accounting skills that you need to pick up. So I would say anybody in the management, they will need to have the right accounting skills, because towards when you become a senior manager role, you have a lot of KPIs, or your performance parameters around the way you manage your funds, the costs of the costs of operations, and all those aspects for which your accounting strong accounting knowledge is very important. And secondly, ACCA also covers aspects like strategy and corporate governance, which is a core paper which is covered under the strategic business leader paper, and those skills are definitely essential for taking up management roles.
Right. Thank you, Jeevan. Prashant, we have our next question from a teacher who wants to know, can a teacher do this ACCA course?
Yes, absolutely. So when we refer to a student, we refer to participants from schools, from undergraduate program, postgraduate, working professionals. So in that context, teacher definitely can do the ACC program.
Right. Prashant, the next question is from Shashwat, who wants to know, will ACCA help him if he is planning to do his family business?
Yes, I think Jeevan pointed out the skills and attributes that an ACC professional has, and as we see the qualification, it has a lot of width in it and a lot of depth in it as well. So whether it is accounting, finance, and the overall knowledge of how businesses work, ACC professionals are now well to do in all those aspects, and it really helps the your own business as well.
Okay, this is a question that I'm not able to skip, so I have to put this to Jeevan. This is from Pratham Raval. Jeevan, the question is, there are thoughts on the shrinking size of operation department in all major companies. So what skills will become more crucial to have in the companies, the big four in the post-COVID era? So the question is basically, what is the skill that they need to acquire in order to be relevant in the post-COVID era?
All right. So as I said, strong foundational professional qualifications are important, and these days, what plays the best is the kind of technology skills that you have. Be it in analytics or visualization or RPA, any technology skill that you have adds to the icing.
Okay, great. Thank you. Prashant, we have this question coming in from multiple students. They want to know how to enroll for the course. So if you can just repeat that portion, then we'll take up the next exam.
So the students have to go on C for Commerce website and enroll for the
c4commerce.com.
c4commerce.com.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And take the IAPT test. So that is available generally. I'll repeat again that it generally costs 1,000 rupees, but for the benefit of students, the entire fees is waived off. And basis your performance, you might also get some scholarships in that.
Great. Wonderful. So before we actually take up a few more questions, I would like to ask ma'am. Ma'am, you have been, hearing for the past few minutes. We have been discussing on this ACCA and options available to the students. So I felt that, you must have a few questions in your mind that you would like to pose to the other panelists directly. So I thought that I would like to know, ma'am, so please.
In fact, I was very happy the way the panel is discussing and giving ideas to the children how to apply the future career growth and things like that. It is amazing, I'm getting to hear some of the names of my students as well and the teachers there. And one of the requests what I got from some of the principals here is, how can we get link for the ACCA lab?
Right. Okay. We will get in touch with all the teachers and principals who are attending the show currently, and we will give the details, ma'am. We'll share the details with them. Ma'am, is there any specific challenge that you see in terms of students taking up this?
Yeah, our school children do take IAPT exams. Many of our students have taken, and some of them have even got scholarships also. So it is nice that opportunity is given to these children, and I'm really happy, that you made a time for these children. They really desperately wanted to reach out to somebody, and thanks for coming together and making the session so strong and eventful for these children. And I think whatever clarification they have, they will write to me. I will pass it on to you, and we need kind of handholding for these children and the principals who require help.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. But then this is a great opportunity that you gave us, that we were able to discuss on this platform with all your students, and the students and teachers, those who are part of the audience. They have been great. The kind of questions that is coming up. As a matter of fact, I have this one more question which is coming up, and this is especially for Jeevan. So I'll just take this question up. Jeevan, the question is, thank you for answering the question on AI, but does the ACCA course concentrate only on financial parts, or does it have technical aspects also? This is from Abhinav. The question is from Abhinav. Yeah.
So, so when you say technical, all the technical aspects relating to finance and accounting, strategy, ethics and professionalism, and then it also gives you the choice of papers where you could, focus on performance management or audit and assurance. The course definitely covers the recent trends in the use of technology. in audit, but then it will not impart you those specific technical skills required to do them. That is something that you will need to acquire as an additional as an additional certification.
Okay. There is a important question that is directed to you, Jeevan, from Deepak, who wants to know, does EY provide internship for commerce students?
Definitely. Typically we have roles across different qualifications. So entry level starts at BCom or MCom, but there is a strong preference for people with professional qualifications like an ACCA or a CA. Because we are a pure, our day job, predominantly it's an audit business or a consulting business. So we give a lot of preference to candidates coming with a professional qualification than candidates coming with just a BCom or an MCom.
Right. Ren, we have a very interesting question from Varsha. She wants to know, she says that I want to study abroad. I have decided that. And but then I want to come back to India to pursue a career in finance. So what do you think I should do? She wants to study abroad, but then pursue a career in finance in India. So what should you do?
So that's one of the advantages, with the ACCA qualification. This is a globally recognized qualification. So when you study ACCA, the advantage is that, okay, after the foundation diploma in accounting and business that you can complete by the time you complete your 12th. If you want to pursue, if you want to study abroad, you can always go abroad and complete your ACCA, part of the ACCA qualification abroad as well. Once you complete the qualification, ACCA qualification, definitely you can come back to India. Now, India, there's a requirement for more than 500 million with the rolling out of IFRS. There is a requirement for more than 500,000 trained professional finance professionals. That's there. And it's also estimated by 2023, over 3.1 billion jobs would be created globally. And now more than 90% of these jobs would be for highly skilled professionals, and that's India would be playing a major part in giving these, supplying this manpower. And so that's when, once you complete the qualification, if you are coming back to India, there would definitely be opportunities.
Okay. We have another question from Shivika Agarwal, who wants to know, will ACCA help if I'm planning to pursue a career in event management?
So definitely, the thing is that when you're studying ACCA qualification, as Jeevan had said, it's predominantly finance. But then, if you look at more than 50% of the global CEOs or C-suite professionals come from a finance background. And if you look at some of the biggest entrepreneurs, for example, let's take the case of Tony Fernandez. You all would have heard about AirAsia, the airline company. Tony Fernandez is an ACCA member. He has completed his ACCA qualification and then decided to go on to travel and tourism sector. So definitely event management is an option. And the thing is that, as Jeevan also said, so there are 12 key competencies that you get once you complete the ACCA qualification. And these are some of these are advisory and consultancy. You learn about data and digital and technology is something that you get. Financial management, leadership and management, stakeholder relationship management. And these are some of the key competencies that you would require. Whichever sector you're going into, these would definitely help you, whether it be event management, whether it be hospitality, or any sector for that matter. It's a good question, Varsha.
Right. We have one more question, which is a number of them have asked this question. They want to know what is the duration of completing this ACCA course.
So a student would be able to complete the qualification, and if they are doing everything properly, I mean, within 2.5 to 3 years, they are able to complete the entire qualification. I mean, I know of students who have completed in a much lesser time as well. But on an average, if you're doing everything, studying properly, I would give it around 3 years.
3 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is there any like, I mean, I think I would like to take this question up with Jeevan also, who has completed ACCA. So I'd like to know from Jeevan, how much time did you take, Jeevan?
It took me 1.5 years.
Oh,
Because I had 4 papers exemption, and then the remaining 10 papers. It was 14 papers when I wrote the exam. So remaining 10
okay.
papers, it took me 4 plus 2, 6 attempts.
Oh, wow, wonderful, wonderful.
I wrote
That's
about 2
really,
papers at a time. So it all depends
oh,
on how you want to take the exams.
right, right, great. Ren, we have one more very important question. But rather, before I come to Ren, I think I'll take this question with Jeevan. Jeevan, there's a specific question that a student wants to know, that she wants to pursue trading. And she says, will pursuing ACCA help me? She wants this question to be answered by you.
All right. So ACCA has this competency called financial management and advanced financial management that's covered in the curriculum, which gives you a lot of insights into portfolio management, and so it gives you the risks related to portfolio, futures, and options, and all those are discussed in detail in those topics. But I would say be diligent and take informed decisions. And trading is not something that a profession. It's a very highly risky profession, I would say. So
Right.
better to have that thorough understanding and knowledge, before you get into it.
Right.
And ACCA will
Okay.
definitely prep you for that.
Right. Okay. Then we have this question, interesting question, which comes up, which says that CA requires you to follow a articleship. So does ACCA also have that kind of a mandate where articleship is required?
So to become a member, you need to have 3 years. There's a PER, work experience is required, but it's not as, it's slightly different from the CA articleship, where you have to compulsorily go and do the articleship with a chartered accountant. Whereas when it comes to ACCA qualification, you can, along with your studies, if you're working also, you can gain this work experience, which would count towards your PER as well. So you need 3 years work experience, but that's not articleship. It can be in any organization. You could work with EY, or you could work in one of the relevant roles.
Right. Thank you, Ren. I think we have come to the end of time for the show. So I think I'll request Rohan to sum it up. But before I do that, I would like to especially thank Manila ma'am from my side for all the support and cooperation, and for making this program a grand success. Thank you so much, ma'am. Right, Rohan, over to you.
Thank you, Murli. I, on behalf of ACCA and Union, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the dignitaries for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. I would also like to express my heartiest thanks to members of audience for participating and making this webinar a successful event. Thank you all, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can give the feedback at this link which is provided, and the feedback is also given in your chat box, so you can directly click on it and open the feedback form. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ren. I'll just.
Thank you, Murli. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.